Today we're making a Chinese restaurant staple, hot and sour soup using only supermarket ingredients. Once prepped, the whole thing cooks in 10 minutes. Let's do it. First, the replacements. We have some canned white beans, in this case, cannellini beans, in place of firm tofu. Normally the firm tofu would be sliced julienne, and that would give you the texture. But supermarket tofu tends to be on the silky side, and when cooked in the soup, they'll end up crumbling. Whereas the beans would give us creaminess and texture, in a sense, deconstructing the tofu. We also have some red kidney beans in place of the optional pig's blood and to give us a bit of contrasting colors. What ratio you want to use is up to you. In place of the dry wood ear mushrooms and occasional dry shiitake mushrooms, we have some fresh shiitake, but you can use any fresh mushrooms. This would give us the umami and the texture, and we start by slicing and cooking them down, building the foundation of our soup and concentrating the umami in the process. Because we're going for a short cooking time today, I'm removing the stems, but if time permits, keep them, slice them lengthwise. They'll give you a bit more contrasting texture and a bit more umami. As usual, prep as we go. Hot pan, generous amount of neutral oil, mushrooms in. It looks like a lot, but fresh shiitakes, they're about 85 to 90% water, so they'll shrink down quite significantly. And as usual, through heat, we're evaporating the water content of the mushrooms to concentrate their flavors, in this case, the earthy note, and of course, the umami. You see how much they shrunk? Now, to replace the crunch and the contrasting texture from the bamboo shoots, we have some celery. Even though we've sliced the mushrooms, the dominant texture of this dish comes from the beans, and we match that of the beans, so we dice them instead. Straight away. And just like the bamboo, this will also give us a bit of freshness. As a bonus, a bit of herbal aromas. If the mushrooms are sticking a bit, it's absolutely fine. In fact, they'll give us more flavors when we deglass the pan to build our soup base. Now, the usual suspects, a bit of ginger. This would give us some zesty freshness, and of course, a bit of a kick. A bit of scallion white for some subtle aromatic sweetness. Now we start to build flavors. Chinese grandma move, soy sauce, straight away. We haven't seasoned anything yet, so this is not just our source of umami, but also salinity. And we cook out the soy sauce to concentrate its flavor, and with heat and a bit of luck, get a bit of Maillard reaction, get more complexity out of the whole thing. Let the soy sauce burn a bit if necessary. Now we start incorporating the water. First, bit by bit, just to have more control, fully deglass the pan, mopping up all those flavors from the mushrooms. And this is in itself a very flavorsome base. No need for vegetable stock or any stock for that matter. Now, one clean bottom. First, the protein, then liquid. As usual, to minimize dilution, or at least help us gauge how much we want to dilute. I think that's plenty. Now we add the water. You can be quite generous, it's a soup after all. Because everything is by definition cooked. All we need to do now, lid on and give it 5 minutes to simmer for the flavors to meld. After 5 minutes, we season the soup. First, to bring the sour and hot and sour, we have some sherry-vinegar to replace the Chinese black rice vinegar. This would give us a similar complexity and mellow acidity. Next up, the hot and sour. A very generous amount of white pepper. Traditionally, white pepper is the source of hot. Of course, a lot of modern recipes calls for chili oil or fresh chilies. So it's a personal choice. Try both. Try a combination. See what you like. Now we taste and adjust the seasoning. And the soup is practically ready, so what you taste now is what you'll get. Oh, brilliant. A bit more salt. You can use more soy sauce as well, depending on the color you're going for. Now, for the signature viscosity, we make a starch slurry. First, by adding cold water to whatever starch you're using. Today, we have cornstarch. One thing to note is that starch is not water-soluble. What is happening here is through mixing, we're suspending them, hydrating the starch granules in the process, preparing them for gelatinization. Now, when you do add them to hot water, the starch granules start to absorb water, swelling and bursting in the process, forming a network that stabilizes and thickens the liquid. We do this bit by bit. And bearing in mind, the beans are themselves starchy, so check for consistency before you add more. Now we have a thick-ish stream. We're ready for the egg. Simply crack an egg or two. I like eggs. Now, to make the egg ribbons, you can either stir the pot and keep your stream steady, or keep the pot steady and move your stream. It's up to you. But whichever way you choose to do this, don't move the egg mixture immediately. Give it a bit of time to set, so they don't end up looking like crumbled tofu. Perfect. Once they look semi-solid, you very gently push to mix everything together. Last minute, we have some optional garnish, just some sliced coriander, and that is hot and sour soup with supermarket ingredients.